Hello there, welcome to Critic Reviews. Today, I'm taking a look at Predator. Anybody that's seen the logo to my channel will see that it's made up of letters taken from various film titles. The Crow was my first review in what seems like quite a long time ago now actually, and it's time to take on the second. So we are looking at the R, and that R is from the legendary Predator. And the question we need to answer here is Predator better than marriage? I'm pretty sure anyone watching this has already seen the damn film, but just in case you somehow haven't, here's the plot breakdown. Spoiler free, as if that matters. A group of Special Forces soldiers are sent into the jungle on a covert mission. Before long they realise that they're being hunted by something terrifying, something alien. As the soldiers start being killed off one by one, they come to the realisation that none might make it out alive, as they are totally outclassed by this extraterrestrial threat. Eventually, all the technology in the world isn't going to make a difference, and more primitive methods will be required if they are to have any chance of surviving. It's a short synopsis because this is actually a very simple film. It essentially takes the tried and tested teen slasher film formula and replaces the naive, hapless teenagers with a squad of trained, macho, badass hombres. From there, you just follow the formula, albeit with a few modifications, as the soldiers try to actually fight the hunter rather than running around like headless chickens. The outcome is still the same though. Many bodies, one survivor. Once the script was shopped out to the star, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the structure to make the film was all intact, it was time to recruit some very muscly dudes. Quite possibly the most testosterone to ever appear on screen at the same time. Ex-wrestlers, action film veterans, ex-military, basically anyone who could walk the walk as well as talk the talk. So, with the cast assembled, they were able to proceed. Balancing egos like that in a close jungle location-based shoot was no mean feat. Sonny Landham's contract had a stipulation in it that he had to have a bodyguard at all times. But the bodyguard wasn't there to keep Sonny safe. It was to keep everybody else safe from Sonny, who was what we could kindly call somewhat unbalanced. Nonetheless, the shoot was proceeding, and although many of the actors had to go through an intensive and brutal soldier boot camp, it was all coming together nicely. Arnold's can-do attitude in particular leading to a cohesive feel to the production and mitigating the harsh jungle conditions. But there was still one big problem: the Predator itself. Originally, Jean-Claude Van Damme, a virtual unknown at the time, was cast to be the Predator, mainly on the basis of his agility. The original Predator design was envisioned as vaguely insect-like, incredibly lithe and agile, bounding and pouncing on the squad of soldiers. Great in theory, but when the actual suit arrived, it was remarkably underwhelming. Jean-Claude Van Damme could barely move in it, and his famous high jumps were out of the question. In addition, the fact that they were shooting on location made the suit incredibly warm and uncomfortable. Director John McTiernan filmed a couple of scenes with it, and sent the footage to the studio labelling it unusable. Thankfully, the studio agreed and halted production while an alternative was found. Jean-Claude Van Damme also left the project, having had a largely miserable time and being under the impression that his face would be identifiable, not covered by a weird-looking full head mould. When you need a creature designed, there's only one person. Enter Stan Winston to the rescue. Already a legend in the special effects world, he started redesigning the titular alien using the concept of a Rastafarian warrior as the basis. A fortuitous flight where he was sat next to the one and only James Cameron, where the director remarked that he'd like to see a creature with mandibles, saw the design finalised, and the Predator as we know it came to life. An iconic design never bettered. We would likely not be talking about this film in the same way if the original design had been used. So as not to turn this into a making of, let's just say it all went smoothly from here. Kevin Peter Hall was selected to be the new Predator, and in the suit he dwarfed even Schwarzenegger. The film, produced on $18 million, was exceptionally well received and grossed just under $100 million, making it extremely profitable. Furthering Arnold's superstar status, it is rightly regarded as a classic, even now, 35 years after its release. But why has Predator endured in this way, elevated to the upper echelons of fan adoration? What X factor did this film have? It's fair to say, in answering, that it is no one thing. Yes, this is the most manly of films ever made by men, for men, and it is most men's favourite film. With deft touches of character development and endlessly quotable dialogue, a lot of the one-liners being improvised by Arnie himself. The Jungle is as much of a character as any of the cast, and tests the squad as much as the Predator itself. When they realise they are not alone, they execute textbook perfect strategies only for them to fail. They are utterly outmatched, and all their weaponry and military experience are of no avail against the alien hunter. The Predator itself is a master in design. By adopting the more human silhouette and primitive trappings of a tribal hunter, there is an eerie familiarity to its movement, and only the claws and mottled skin give away that this creature is from another world. Well, that and the scene that shows it arriving from a spaceship at the start of the movie. This is the one change that I would have made to the film. And I do mean the only one. I would have just omitted that scene from the movie completely and had the hunter's origin be much more ambiguous. But that's just me. With its tight script and superbly directed action, Predator never lets up. Even Mac's vigil at the body of his friend has a great Alan Silvestri theme playing over the top of it as Duke recounts a past adventure with his buddy, but he's talking to the corpse, not to us. It's riveting stuff, and there isn't an ounce of fat on this lean, mean, badass film. The latest remaster has it looking as sharp as any modern production, and as far as classics go, this is right up there. Never bettered, and only made more impressive by each iteration of the franchise. The concept is blissfully simple, meaning that full attention can be given to making the narrative as full-fledged as it needs to be to make the film work. Unlike most films these days that are over 2 hours long and stuffed and bloated with multiple narratives and messages, Predator is refreshingly brutal and simple in its approach. It's also astonishingly unapologetic. There is one woman in the film. One, and while she's strong and resilient in her own way, not once does she put a man in his place or kick ass against the Predator. In fact, she's more of a plot or exposition device than anything else. Although I actually think that Elpidia Carrillo is great in the role, doing exactly what she needs to. Nonetheless, it's a film that would never even get past the approval stages these days. It's a wonderful relic of a simpler time, purer days, long past. So yes, Predator is never going to win an Oscar, and it's never going to be used in a philosophy date or held up as a paragon of social commentary. It's an action film draped around a slasher concept, pure and simple, with a slick, endlessly quotable script, great effects, and a diverse cast of men up against something that all their training, all their skills are no match for. It's an incredibly compelling concept, masterfully brought to life by talented individuals at the top of their game, and that's all it ever needs to be. We will never see anything like it again, and that just makes it all the more special. It's one of those few films that has entered the cultural zeitgeist and will continue to endure and be watched for decades to come. Better than Marriage? Well, I can't say yet, but let's just say Marriage has a lot to live up to even be compared to Predator. Thanks for watching. I've been Critic. I'll be back with another movie review soon.